Hey everybody, thanks for tuning back into OTRAMM's YouTube channel where we do Land Cruiser repair and modification how-to videos. Today we're going to be installing a set of yodaTEQ Gull wings, which I've already done this side as a practice run, and I'll film doing the other side and take you through the install process. So we'll come back to that in just a minute, and don't forget to subscribe below, and if you really dig what we're doing, check out our Patreon link in the description. So let me reset back to the inside of the truck and I'll be right back. Okay, so the first step in pulling the factory glass is to work this rubber weather stripping out. And we're just going to use an assortment of cheap plastic trim tools. This is a Harbor Freight set. I've had the nicer snap-on ones, and I don't think they're nice enough to justify the additional cost, especially as often as I lose and break these. So this basically works a lot like if you were changing a tire on a bicycle. You just pry up under there, and I should have flipped that around the other way, so we'll do that with this one. And just get it worked up. Come on. And it's kind of cold here in the shop this morning. You just want to get them up, and you can start lifting the weather strip out and working it around. And there you can start getting them actually wedged in there. And usually, once you get a corner kind of started, it makes it easier. And you can get behind there and just kind of start sliding. Just getting that first little bit started, that's really the hard part. Once you've got that first bit going, you can just work your way around. And then you can come around to the outside and just start wiggling, and it'll come out. So let me take you over to the bench and we'll carry on. Okay, now that we've got our window out, we can start pulling the factory weather stripping off of it, and it just kind of works up off of this aluminum frame. You just, work it around. It comes off way easier than it's going to go back on. We can just set that off to the side for the moment. We can unlatch our other window. Let me grab a screwdriver. So in the top and the bottom of the frame, right here in the middle, there's a Phillips screw, and that's going to hold the center rail in. So we're going to take those out. I'll flip this over to make it a bit easier. And you can just kind of pop the glass out of the frame. Then you can pop this little center strip guy out. Same thing with the other glass. And now we need to take the old latch plates off. So let me zoom you in a little bit. And if I can get this in frame, you can kind of see there's two aluminum rivets on here. So what we're going to do is we're going to center punch those and then drill them out. And I left my center punch over here on the bench. You just want to kind of center those up. And then over here on the other end, in the outside edge of the frame, there are similar rivets for the other latch. And I'm going to start those with an 1/8 inch bit. Yeah, my bit broke. Awesome. So I'm going to jump up to the next size up. Wondered why that wouldn't start right. And there you go, and you're just kind of drilling the heads off of the rivets so that these latches will pop off. We can set those aside. And then the next thing we're going to do, you can see where the rubber, there's a gap right here. We're just going to mark the center line of that gap. And just make us a straight line there. Straight line going down the outside. This isn't super critical. And then another line there. Because we've got to cut the frame open in order to make room for the new gull wing frame to be able to go in there. And you can use a hacksaw or a cutoff wheel I'm going to use an air saw just because it's handy and quick. There we go. And I'm just going to use a little burr to take the sharp edges off. There we go. And I'm going to tuck this weather strip back in real quick before it all the way falls out. Okay, so now we've got this prepped. So we're going to go to the inside, which is this side, and we're going to hold it back together flush, and yodaTEQ gives us this little mending plate. And we're just going to hold the two halves back together so that they're flush, and line this guy up and mark the 4 rivet holes for it. And I just marked those way off center, so let me try that again. And you want the center of your frame to be, or the center of your cut to be in the center of that mending plate. And now that we've got these all marked, we can center punch them. And go ahead and drill them to 1/8 of an inch. There we go. Flip that guy over, and then I want the bottom outside. Yeah, okay. Let me go grab the panel. So we've got our new yodaTEQ panel. And come on. We're going to work it into the outside groove of the old window track. And then coming around these corners is why we had to split the frame. So there we go, we've got that in there. And now we can take our rivet plate and slip it inside the frame. and rejoin the frame. There we go. Move those before they scratch anything. And now we can start the awesome task of putting the rubber back on. And you just match it up. There's rectangle cutouts in the bottom of the rubber. Those correspond to rectangle cutouts in the bottom of the frame. So this guy basically just works over the way we took it off. And you work it around, and then comes the terribly terrible part. We've got to work the inside edge. I don't know if you're going to be able to see this, but if you roll this lip back, let me zoom you in. So if you roll that lip back, and I don't know how to get this in the camera, so you can see it, but there's a lip that's folded under, and you need to unfold it and wrap it around the inside of this metal frame. And it's terrible. And what I use, it's an old just metal pick that's been broken off and then smoothed out on the end to make it easier. And I'll just start at one side, and you hook the hook under and pull towards you, and you can just start moving that lip and seating it back over the inside of the channel. And you've got to do this on the inside and the outside. I'm not going to make you sit through watching me struggle with this, so let me get this all looped on and I'll bring you back. So we've got our weather stripping all chased back on here, and you've got to go around a couple of times because it'll look like it's stuck in right, and then you'll find a piece that's not. And then I've taken just some electrical wire and run it through the channel here where the pinch weld's going to be. And we're just going to flip that over and tape it to the inside. And then we're going to take glass cleaner and spray down the gasket groove. Real well to lubricate this going back in. Let me go hit the other side real quick. And let me move the camera back over to the truck and I'll bring you back. Okay, so with this all lubed up, I started a bottom corner into the lip right here. And here you can see my two wires that I've run through. So we're going to use those to peel the rubber in as we come around.
And you can just work it around and kind of seat that as you go. There we go. And that's all but the very top. You can let go now. Thank you. So we've got all but the very top seated in there. And now we can just come back with our fingers and roll the edge over. Actually, I'm going to do that with a little plastic tool. And this is a lot easier without this shelf thing up here. There we go. Now all of our rubber's seated. Take our wire the rest of the way out. And I'll go through to the outside and we'll put the hatch struts on. See, now we can open it up and hatch struts just snap on the balls there. And there we go, we're all done. So there's a down and dirty of doing the yodaTEQ gull wing windows. Hopefully you found this useful. If you did, please subscribe below and check out our Patreon link in the description. And I'll see you next time. Thanks for tuning in.